I've got my cozy corner and my mug full of chai tea because today we're going to be spilling some tea. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Rigel, and in this corner of the internet I make design and lifestyle related videos other than this tea talk. So those are anything encompassing graphic design and illustration, and other things like fashion, cooking, etc. So if you're interested in any of those topics and you want to stick around, make sure to subscribe and hit that bell for notifications. Alright, so let's cut to the chase because I know you're ready for some tea. This is how I got stood up at an event I was supposed to host. I didn't really think this was possible, but I guess it happens sometimes. So I founded and I run this online organization called Agents of Creation, and our mission basically is to empower, support, and inspire each other and other Asian creatives, as well as celebrating each other's culture. Now this story kind of happened about a month ago, but I still wanted to fill you guys in on all the details. So one day I was going about my day as usual, just how the freelancing life is, and then all of a sudden I get this DM through Agents of Creation from a company that reached out to me, and they asked if I wanted to host an event with them because they really like the platform that I've created. So I looked into their company to try to make sure everything was legit, and it looked super legit. So I reached out to them and I told them, hey, I'm super interested in hosting an event for you, and that would be really great, and I would just like to learn a little bit more about it. So they messaged me just kind of explaining a little bit more about their company and hosting an event, and they also kind of said that I can pretty much talk about anything that I wanted to, or host an event about anything that I wanted to. So I was like, okay, cool, that gives me pretty much a whole broad spectrum of anything I could talk about. But since they reached out to me through Agents of Creation, I thought it'd be a great idea to actually talk about the online platform that I do run and what it's all about, so then other people that may be interested in Agents of Creation could join, and also kind of share the origins of why the organization started, and my background too about going into the design field and taking the creative career as an Asian American, and how that was like growing up. Now, after going a little bit back and forth on the DMs through Instagram, they ended up sending me a link. And so I clicked on the link and it took me to a form on their website that I had to fill out, which I was a little bit surprised about, just because I already talked with them about, what I was thinking about covering, as well as agreeing with them on, hosting an event. But I guess maybe the form was just to fill out so they can refer back to it later on, just because, there's a lot of events. Their company mainly focuses on hosting a lot of events with other people. So I filled it out, took about half an hour, and I sent it in, and I got an email back saying that, thanks for filling this out, and we'll contact you shortly so you can learn more about the steps that you need to take on doing the event. Now, when I sent out the event, the only thing that popped up, there was a little contract stating, the only thing that was on it basically was, okay, this is the event time and day that you scheduled for. So I scheduled it a week and a half from the time they reached out to me, and I only put it down for a 45-minute event because that was as much time that I could give them for hosting it. And then they said in the contract, the only other thing was, other than marketing and pushing out the event, which obviously I was still gonna do, and other than that, they also said that I had to screen record a snippet of the event. Now this was supposed to be a Zoom event because obviously we're still in a pandemic. I don't want to go outside really that much because it's completely not safe at all, and also they're in a whole other state, so that's another issue with the whole physical distance type thing. So an online event, completely good. We're all okay, everything is gonna be pretty easy. The only thing we need to really worry about is internet connection. So they wanted me to screen record a snippet of the Zoom event I was hosting, which I was fine with. I was actually thinking of screen recording the whole thing, so if you guys wanted to see and learn about it, then you could here on my YouTube channel, but you know, obviously that didn't happen because your girl got stood up. But it is okay. The next thing that happened was that they did end up reaching out to me, and they sent me a graphic, like a little poster, I guess, in a way, an online ad that I can kind of like push out and market to Agents of Creation so our fellow members would know about it and join the event if they were interested in it, as well as like other people on the internet that just wanted to also come to the event and learn more about it. So I was pretty excited for it. I kept pushing out some ads that they sent me that I can use, and I pretty much pushed them out not only on my Agents of Creation page, but I also posted it onto my own art page where I do more illustration work. So I sent it out on there. I even covered it on my other platforms like Twitter as well as Facebook. And so other people were starting to get excited about it. People were wanting to attend it. You know, I left the link that they can sign up into the bio of Agents of Creation because I was given the link, and I was also told to put it in my bio so they could join, obviously. Things seem pretty good. I also got a couple messages from the company reaching out to me being like, you know, we're excited to host this event with you, and we're excited to see what you have for the event, you know, that kind of a thing. So I was getting excited, especially the couple days leading up to it, because I was like, oh, I get to share the platform and I get to share the origins of it, as well as, you know, teaching other people about, you know, growing up as an Asian American and wanting to take the creative field and how that is. And by the way, if you guys are interested in actually learning about that and, you know, me covering topics about what I was going to do at the event I was supposed to host, just let me know in the comment section below and I might make a video on that. But yeah, so days leading up to it, all excited. I put out more, you know, ads all over the place. I'm getting pumped. They're getting pumped, you know, posting on their stories. I'm posting on my stories, all of that stuff. And then it comes the day of the event. Don't know why I'm clapping so much, but it's fine. All right, so it's the day of the event. I'm super excited. I'm getting ready. You know, I carved out a piece of my day so that I can go and host this event and, you know, share the platform with everyone and, you know, just have that opportunity to kind of do a little bit of networking with this company. And things seemed pretty good. You know, I did my day about as usual as freelancing, and, you know, things were leading up to it. I made sure to get ready a little bit beforehand. So about an hour and a half before the event started, I looked over the notes that I ended up outlining everything just to make sure I hit all the topic points and I didn't really ramble off too far because the event was only 45 minutes. So I was looking through all my notes, you know, I got ready, you know, dressed up differently, you know, obviously for the Zoom event. And then I looked over my notes. I even practiced what I was going to say. So I went through the list, you know, kind of was doing everything. And then about 20 minutes before the event started, I went on to my computer, you know, booted that up, and I pulled up my email because I was kind of expecting some notification from them, or, you know, just an email sending me the link to click on the Zoom event so I can join and then start hosting. So I pulled up my email, kind of looked at it, and I was like, okay, nothing yet. It's a little odd. But maybe it'll show up, you know, probably just a few minutes before the event actually started, like 10, 15 minutes before the event started. So I didn't think much of it. This is where things go wrong. And, you know, I feel like it was problems on both sides, I guess, because communication was obviously lost in translation, and maybe things were just assumed because I assumed I was going to get a link from the company to join the event. Maybe they assumed that I knew how their company worked, even though, you know, I didn't have any indication of that. It wasn't even in their ending contract of, you know, me filling out the form of like how this was going to work, of them sending me things or not. But anyways, so I'm there, I'm sitting waiting a little bit on the computer, and then it passes 5 minutes. I still don't get an email from them, and I'm like, okay, this is kind of weird, kind of expected to get an email by now at this point. There's only 15 minutes before the event starts, and usually you want to be at the event, especially if you're the one hosting, you want to be at the event before all the other people come in and want to listen or, you know, show up. So I end up going back to the Instagram of Asians of Creation, and I find them in my DMs, and I basically go on to, you know, their name, and I send out, I'm like, hey, so just wondering if I was supposed to get an email of the link of joining the Zoom event, you know, so I can start hosting, just wondering where that's at. And then they reply to me, I think like a couple minutes after, and they're like, hey, you're supposed to actually go into the event link and sign up yourself to join the event. And I was like, okay, cool. I wasn't told that, but thanks. So a little miffed about it, just because, you know, I kind of expected not to have to go into their website, go into the event section of, you know, where to sign up, and then actually sign up myself as one of the members, because I am the host of the event. So that was not, I wasn't intending that. I didn't really see that coming, and they didn't explain it to me. They didn't communicate to me at all that I was supposed to sign up for the event. By going on that link that they sent me, they just sent me the link and was like, hey, this is the link you can share with other people so they could sign up. So it just didn't occur to me that I was supposed to do that. So I end up going onto their website. I go into the event page of where Agents of Creation, you know, hosting the event for, and I click on, you know, sign up for the event or join the event. I forgot what it exactly said on the button, but I clicked on it, so then, you know, I could sign up for the time, and immediately it takes me to their calendar area, and every single day on the calendar is crossed out. Like, I try to hover over my mouse on the calendar to see maybe for some reason that maybe, just maybe, if I hovered over it, magically one of the days would no longer have the X and it just open up and it'd be like, hello, just click on there and you could be taken to the wonderful event that you were supposed to be hosting. But I clicked on it, and you know, obviously nothing happened. It was just kind of wishful thinking on my part. And so I refreshed the page. I basically did this about 5 to 10 times because, you know, I didn't want to reach out and be like, hey, this isn't working. I don't know, like, what am I doing wrong here that, like, I can't join the event? If, like, what if one of those times I would have done it and then, you know, I got in. So I tried like 5 to 10 more times just to make sure. And, you know, every single time it kept telling me that the event wasn't available, you know, I can't go in, there's no time slot for this that I can enter. It just didn't make sense to me. And I was like, okay, there is 10 minutes or like 7 minutes before this event starts. I'm starting to kind of panic on the inside a little bit because I'm like, this is not working. I can't join this event right now. And, you know, I'm stuck and I'm supposed to be the one hosting it. And, you know, there are people who signed up to join this event and listen to me speak. And I've practiced everything. I've written out all, you know, all the stuff that I need to say. And I've already gotten ready. I like carved some time out of my day to host this event. And, you know, things are not happening. I'm a little stressed out. Okay, so what I decided to do, you know, obviously since the website wasn't working, I went back onto Instagram, I DM'd them again, and I was like, hey, so I'm clicking on the link and it's not working. Like, I'm trying to get in and it's not saying I can get in. This says all the time slots are taken up and I don't know why, but, you know, just letting you know, like, is there a link that you can send me so then I could just join immediately? Because, you know, they have the Zoom event link. Obviously, they're the ones that are running the whole platform, not the Zoom platform, but, you know, like their platform of doing the events. And so I'm waiting and I'm waiting, still waiting, and I get no response. And I'm like, this is this is really not good, because at this point we are 1 minute away from the time that I'm supposed to be hosting this event, and there's still no response, and I have no link, and so I'm just sitting there. I'm sitting there in the room with my laptop and the screen in front of me, and I'm just staring and waiting. And it's like the minutes are just drawing out so long, because I just want to go on to the event. I just want to be able to host the event and, teach everyone about the organization. I thought we were gonna have a good time, but no, I'm just waiting. And I'm like, okay, I don't really know what to do beyond this point. I feel like this is the best I can do for right now. When I look on their website for contacting through an email, it gives out like some type of generic email that doesn't really pertain directly to the person that runs their social media platform. And it seems like that they're pretty good with communicating through Instagram DMs instead of email, because when I filled out the form the last time, it ended up giving me this weird email that's like not even really related to the same name as their company. But I just waited, and I was like, okay, well, it's already 3:10, and this event, by the way, was supposed to be at 3 o'clock, so it's 10 minutes in and through this event, and this event is 45 minutes long. So I'm like, okay, I have 35 minutes still that I can use for the time. If they send me a link right now, I can still talk about everything that I need to talk about Asians of creation and, growing up as an Asian American, wanting to join a creative field. So I'm like, okay, this is fine. Like, there's still time. I'm gonna keep waiting. So I wait some more, and I keep waiting, and I get no response still. It is about 3:20 at this point. Another 10 minutes pass by, and I'm just like, okay, this doesn't seem too promising, but I'm gonna give them a benefit of the doubt that this event can still happen. I'm trying to be hopeful here, what is it, that whole glass full type of mindset. So I'm like, this is fine. This is totally fine. I still have like 25 minutes left to join this event and host the event, because I am the host. I'm supposed to be hosting this event. So I'm still here, and I'm like, okay, let me do the math, but slowly, because, I suck at math. So I'm like, okay, there has to be a certain time limit that I have to wait until I realize that they are not going to reach out to me at all or send me a link to join this event that I'm supposed to be hosting for 45 minutes. And I'm do the math, I'm like, okay, if it gets to 15 minutes before the event ends, or like 15 to 10 minutes until this event ends, I don't think they're gonna reach out. Like, I feel like that's it. This isn't gonna happen, because there's no way that I can say everything that I need to say in 10 minutes. I might be able to if I cut down a lot of things, but I mean, this event was 45 minutes, and to cut it down to 10 minutes, it almost seems like it's not worth it. But I want to still be able to be there for the people that actually signed up to attend. And I don't know if they left at this point. Who knows? Because I'm not in the event. But I give them that time frame limit, so 3:20, and by the time it hits 3:35, it's like 10 minutes before the event, I kind of was like, I don't think this is happening. This isn't happening. I think I'm being stood up. Yep, I'm being stood up. It is 3:35. It is 10 minutes before this event ends. This isn't happening. Like, they went MIA. I don't know where they went. It only took me a couple minutes to try and sign into the event, and nothing happened. And I'm here, and I'm surprised they didn't reach out to me, because the company is supposed to actually be there during that event. So I don't know why they didn't reach out to me the entire time. I mean, it was a full-blown 35 minutes I've been waiting. And, you know, obviously they would know that I'm missing that entire time because they would be there at the event and I would not be there. And at this point, I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna go about my day, and it is okay that I was not able to host this event because it is only one thing out of the grand scheme of this entire world. It is nothing to entirely fuss over too much. So I end up just doing the rest of my work that needed to be done that day. And then while I'm kind of, you know, doing my own thing again, back at it again with my freelance in life, I finally get a ping and I'm like, oh, what was that? So I look over and I get DM'd. It's from them. And they're like, hey, we can actually send you a link to the event. Are you still available for the last 20 minutes of your event? And I'm like, 20 minutes? What are they talking about? It is literally 3:40 at this point. Like, I only have 5 minutes left if I were to join this event, and I'm kind of busy already. You know, I have all this other stuff that I need to do, and I've only carved out this much amount of time in my day that I can actually be there and sit down for that long of a time and talk. And it just occurred to me that they did not even look at the form that I ended up sending them and scheduling in, saying that the event was only going to be 45 minutes. They thought that this event was going to be an entire hour instead of the 45 minutes. So that was another thing that kind of rubbed me the wrong way, other than, you know, them being AFK. And I was like, these people didn't really take the time to actually know how long my event is supposed to be, even though they said they were excited about it and everything. So it kind of indicated to me that they didn't care enough, you know? So at this point too, I was kind of over it at this point. I was like, you know, I don't really care as much anymore at this point. I only had 5 minutes left from the time they messaged me. And so I decided, which, you know, on my part, I don't think was really that nice, but I did end up reaching back out to them again. But I decided not to message back because I was like, there's 5 minutes left. I don't have any time. But I got another message from them a few minutes later, which by that time it was the end of my actual time for the event. And they sent out the link to click on to join the event, which they could have done that from the very beginning when I reached out to them earlier telling them that I couldn't join the event on their website because something was wrong and I didn't understand what was going on. So I kind of just let it sit there for a little bit, because at the time, you know, I was frustrated and I was disappointed because I was really looking forward to being able to host this event and talk about my platform and hopefully be able to support other Asian creatives. But then, you know, that didn't happen. So I was kind of a little mad at that, and I didn't really want to deal with it. I wanted to just focus on the work at hand that I need to get done. And then I noticed immediately after those messages, they said, sorry for the inconvenience. Then they put a little frowny face. And then after, they sent another message saying, hopefully you can host another event with us, with a smiley face. That. I found that hilarious, okay? Because if we think back to how this whole thing was handled on their side, which I know some of it is my fault just because I assumed that they would send me the event link right away, you know, and that didn't happen. I just thought it was funny because it's like, we know, like, they didn't communicate clearly, and I tried going on to the event. They didn't even want to send me the link in the first place. And then once I tried reaching out to them again about the whole ordeal, they completely went off the grid for pretty much 40 minutes of the event that I was still waiting for. And then they reach out to me last minute asking me to host the last 20 minutes of the event, when in fact my event was only supposed to be 45 minutes long, so that would be only 5 minutes left of the event, and that would not cover anything. And then after that, they asked me that I do another event with them when I didn't even host the original event I was supposed to do. I was stood up, people. Like, I was stood up. And I was the host. So I thought it was hilarious. I still didn't answer them at this point. I was just like, let me just answer them when I've calmed down a little bit and I'm not so frustrated and disappointed about what happened. So I pretty much finish up the work that I'm trying to finish up on, and then a couple hours later, I end up messaging them and just being like, it's unfortunate that this happened, and I was looking forward to hosting this event, and that maybe if I do have time in my schedule, that I would host an event with them. And I don't really know if I'm gonna end up reaching out to them again and try and host an event with them, just because of how unprofessional everything was handled, and it really left a sour taste in my mouth. Who knows? Maybe I will one day reach out to them again and then try this whole thing again, knowing what I know now, and actually be able to host something on there with the company. But things aren't looking so great on their side for being able to have me work with them again and then host an event. That might not really happen. So, just little lessons here and there. So, what are the key takeaways, and what is the lesson that I have actually learned from this whole ordeal thing? I think the main lesson that I have learned in this whole experience, this whole journey, is basically communication. I think communication was the biggest problem that happened, and this is why things turned out this way. And largely I feel like it was on them, but I do want to acknowledge that there was some fault on my side too, because I assumed things, and I guess they assumed things too, and we just didn't communicate clearly until it was almost last minute. So at least for me, I know going into a situation like this again, maybe I were to ask, hey, is there supposed to be a link that I'm supposed to get when the event is soon, or anything like that? Or be like, oh, will I learn more information, more about this as the time comes? I don't know, just something like that, so I can be a little bit more aware of how this whole thing is going to be like, how the whole event setup is going to play out. So that's something at least I can take away as a lesson from and be better for the next time when I do host an event. So yes, it kind of sucked being stood up at an event that I was supposed to be the host for. It kind of also feels a little weird because, you wouldn't think that a host would get stood up at their own event, but it happens. But life goes on and it's completely fine. And so that's the tea. If you like this video, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, and also don't forget to subscribe so we can keep hanging out. So I shall see you in the next video. Bye!